NTV.
Welcome back to Morning at NTV. 4 minutes past 8 a.m. We're now getting into a conversation when it goes to the music industry, and we're taking a look at those artists that sign under foreign record labels. How is it going for them, and should we just simply stay home, or is it okay for them to go? How does it work on that other end? And having that conversation with me this morning is Nava Gray. You might have heard her. Amazing vocalist. I don't even think I should say artist. Your voice is amazing. Welcome to Morning
really
at NTV.
Thank you for hosting.
And I'm also joined by Andrew Kagwa, my colleague, I could say,
yes,
from Daily Monitor, who is a journalist, but also a critic when it comes to the arts within the country. Welcome to Morning at NTV.
Thank you very much.
We'll start off with just listing a few. So we have Irene Ntale last year.
Yeah.
She moved on to Universal Music,
Yes.
Nigeria. We also had in the same year Vinka moved on to Sony. But before that, we've had people like Keko. Also move on, artists like that. And as we start that conversation, I'll just ask Nava Gray one of the hardest questions she might have today morning. Did they ever approach you? Have they approached you? And how come you've never signed
To
any foreign label?
okay, I tried with Sony, but it was more of publishing and distribution. It wasn't like for them to take me on. I had to have control of my stuff, because the fact that I am a songwriter, I do my own stuff. I needed to have like that little control. It wasn't like Keko who signed onto, like she was signed and she was the artist.
Okay.
Then as we went on, I decided to be like a partner, to partner with them, because they had this slot whereby if you write music for other artists worldwide, then you can be our partner or something of that sort. So I decided to embark on that. Yeah.
So
I
what
believe it
Nava
was better.
mentions is something that there are different ways of actually going on to a foreign label.
Yes.
So there's publishing, there's partnering, and then being fully taken on.
Yeah.
I think, Andrew and Nava, you could explain to me what, for anyone who's wondering, well, when you say someone is signed on, then they've gone.
Then they have
shouldn't-
gone.
yeah.
Then they belong there.
Yes.
So they have to, like, they're servants there.
But there are different levels to this
Yeah.
serving.
Exactly.
are the levels
I think
like?
it's a situation where one can be signed on as a songwriter, or they can write for other people, but they still have control of their own art.
Yeah.
If they want to do their own music, they can do it the way they want. But then there are those who are signed, like, we take you as an artist, we fully take control of your creating process. And usually that's where the problem actually comes from. We take control of your creating process, we decide when you produce, we decide when you release, and we decide who you collaborate with.
Okay, but which one do you think would be better? Because Nava mentions the fact that at some point you were partnering. Are you still partnering with
Yes,
them?
I'm
You
still
are.
partnering.
And that's, is it lighter? Is it better?
It's better when you're in control
The thing is,
of your stuff.
with an artist like Nava who can write music, that works. Okay, I'm not dissing any Ugandan artist, but
Disclaimer.
we have very many artists that cannot write a song, that cannot play an instrument. Like, basically everything they do is written for them. Like, everything around the production,
video,
like, they don't have
concepts and
any
stuff.
serious input in their own craft. So when you're such an artist, people are going to take you and they're going to do things the way they want you to do them.
Okay. Well, Nava, you mentioned the fact that, and you have said not everyone is like Nava.
Yes.
Nava has some skills that she brings with her, which I think makes it easier for her to negotiate
Yes.
her control.
Exactly, yes.
So talking about what you bring to the table and that how actually affects how you're going to be given a deal or how you broker the deal eventually. How was it like for you negotiating? that
Negotiating
particular deal?
wasn't so hard, because they approached me personally, and I was able to, and they gave me that freedom to kind of lay out my needs. What would you require? How do you want to be treated? How do you want this to happen? So I had like info on exactly what I wanted, because like I know my craft and I know what exactly I need.
Okay.
So it was easy.
All right. Now, Nava, you mentioned the fact that, well, they give you a particular list of things and you can say no to this, you can say yes to this. But how about those who actually don't have the ability to, Andrew, and what deal do they eventually end up with?
One of the biggest problems is Sony is so big. Like,
Yeah.
there is no way you hear something like Sony and you will be moved in a certain way. For instance, I usually tell my politician friends that there is no way Museveni can come in the area and you do not, like, you don't flinch, like, you just tell the same, you're like, yeah, I don't like that guy, I don't care if he's around. Like, when he shows up, you'll feel something. So it's the same thing with Sonny. When Sonny comes around, the very first thing you think about is Michael Jackson, and then you'll be like, oh, Mariah Carey. And so, and then they're telling you, you're signing you. There are more chances you're going to say yes without even asking questions.
Yeah.
So when
Be
Sonny,
lured.
yeah, when Sonny first came to Africa, trust me, they did not know the business of Africa. I will not even say Uganda. They did not know the business of Africa, because I will mention people like Toya Delazi, who was South African. She was signed to Sony, and I felt like they just crippled after that. There was, is it a Static? She was Kenyan, and then you have Keiko. Like basically everyone they took on in 2010 or 2008 as an artist, they kind of failed to make them bigger stars than they were before they signed them. And that was basically because Sony did not understand how the African business of music worked.
Yeah. Well, when you mention the fact that this name will come up and it will be so big, this brand that approaches you, that means you need to have advisors around you. Exactly. Who are you listening to? Which ear? Or who is in your ear, actually? So, Nava, who was in your ear? Because if the big names come, and maybe Andrew is my friend, and he'll say, Peter, do you know what happened in 2010 to Keiko?
While I was like kind of working, when I was like beginning to start with the music and everything, I met so many people. I met a certain gentleman from Zimbabwe, and he was half Zimbabwean, half Zambian, so he was based in South Africa. So we became friends. I met him in Namibia. So he was well acquainted. By the time Sony approached, he was well acquainted with the whole entire thing. So he gave me a few tips: do this, if this happens, do this. So I had somebody. And I also had a sister who mentors me at home. So I was in my mentor, you know. I was stable. So usually when people are approached, I think there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of desperation, which in turn kind of becomes an enemy to your career. You have to be right-minded. Nothing should push you. Nothing should kind of push you off your, what do they call it?
Your vision, your goal?
Yeah. Okay. You know, there are those things that kind of lure us into making crazy situations. But I'm not saying that mistakes are not good. It's good to make mistakes because that's how we learn. We're human beings at the end of the day. So make your mistake, but learn from it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you listen. But we know that, Andrew, there are some artists where the ego, actually, the praises have confused them and they don't listen to anyone.
Yeah, it happens.
The right mind is key, because I know Don Jazzy told D'banj not to sign with Kanye West. Like, he totally believed D'banj could become a bigger artist in Africa, and America would need him before him trying to need America. And D'banj did not listen. D'banj went on and signed with Good Music, which was Kanye West, which Kanye West owns, and we all know how that ended. Like, the only hit song D'banj ever released when he was part of Good Music was a song he had done with Don Jazzy before leaving. So basically, he did not get anything from Good Music. Like, yes, it's always very, very key to listen to some people, but there are artists that will not listen because they believe this is my chance and I'm not throwing away my shot.
You guys are hating. You don't seem to see where I want to go with all of this. So now that's the vision. The vision, that's what they'll say. They say you're the hater at the end of the day because you're advising.
Yeah, and the most important thing is that artist, I mean, it's you that has to, at the end of the day, appear. The manager is usually, you know, behind scenes and everything. So you have to be at your right place. Nothing should kind of distort you because you have to perform at the end of the day. You have to be sane. You know, you don't want to get to a point where you're depressed. You have to take drugs. You have to take all these things to kind of, you know, which is usually that point where everyone, you know, decides to quit music. And this is your passion. You were passionate about it in the very beginning. You don't want to lose it at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, you've kept on mentioning the fact that, well, there's music that is created for the African continent. And if you sign on with this international brand, sometimes that's watered down in one way or another. Or the people that loved you in Uganda cease to connect because the music that you're now playing or singing does not resonate with them anymore. So let's first take a look at one of Vinka's songs before she signed on with Sony. And then we'll take a look at one of hers after she signed on with Sony. And you'll tell me, because we all listen to this music, what your thoughts were. Was she the same person? Was she not? Let's take a look. Well, as we get the song, how about we first just get into the conversation on that? We'll start with Andrew.
One of the reasons why most of these things actually do not really work out, I think it's because it's a trickle-down effect when it comes to the US and the UK and Asia. Like Sony is not just a label in the US. Like Sony is a very big umbrella group that has a record label, produces movies, there are TVs under there, radios. Like when this one big company has an artist, like there will be that trickle-down effect where, say, if NMG has a record label and they have a new song, that song will be on NTV, it will be on Spark, it will be on KFM, that person will be in Daily Monitor. Like that trickle-down effect. Now for them it's massive. Like your song will be in the movies, in their TV shows, on their talk shows. So when something is before people for a very long time, they will start believing that, yeah, this artist is good, this song is good. When they come to Africa, while they don't even own a blog or even a journalist, like they're going to be starting from scratch, yet they want to use the same way of promoting music and marketing it. They want to market music in Africa the same way they market it in the US, yet in Africa they do not have a system to support the process they use in the US.
Okay. Well, we've been having this conversation as Love Panic was playing. A number of people are in love with it. I think I'm one of them. I think we all like it. It's a good one from Vinka. Her songs have definitely changed over from the time she started out and then when she eventually signed up with Sony, though she's still with Swang's Avenue. You mentioned the fact that, well, if you have a good support system, whether you're signed to someone, to a record label internationally, you still have people who are here pushing your music. The support is necessary. Yeah, so Nava, what would you have to say about the support system?
The support system
has support system.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that Swangs is really doing so much, because those guys out there wouldn't have appreciated her if these guys here weren't working so hard to whatever, mold the artist and do all those nitty-gritties that are necessary. So like a child, I mean, if your mom loves you, of course wherever you go you'll be loved, but if there is no one that loves you at home, you'll find challenges wherever you go. It just happens naturally. Yeah.
Do you think the quality of music changes when you're signed to an international?
You have focus now. Your focus is different. I mean, after being signed, you have to be at par with the rest of the world. You can't be less. You have to be competing with that other market.
Now, Irene recently released a song. An album in entirety, and I think, is it Kasukali? Yeah, I have to say it slowly. But yes, released an album, and one of the songs, we'll be playing one of her songs in just a bit. But taking a look at, I don't usually like to compare women. It's not a good thing to compare women together. But they were both once in the same place, Swang's Avenue, and then when one left, one took over that particular space. Both signed to international labels. A year ago, it was Irene in August is when she signed on with Universal Music. In May of the same year is when Vinka had signed on. But we noticed that there's a difference. Where is the difference between the two and where their music is going and where we see it going?
I think it's because Vinka retained her Swang's connection, and Swang's is still pushing her. She's still on the Swang's roster. Like it is a very good thing to have people pushing your music. Well, I do not know if Irene Tade has that advantage, but whatever it is, I feel like she doesn't have that, because I really appreciate Sukali. I've listened to the entire album over and over, but I keep asking myself why Ugandans are not listening to the album.
Yeah, and it's a very important thing. Never, do you think there's a reason why Ugandans are not listening to the album?
Ugandans have always been, there's a certain kind of direction. I think it's, I don't know who to blame. Is it the radio stations and all those kinds of things? I don't know. Maybe there's a certain bias. I don't know if there's politics.
It's actually
but
not
it's, I think, a Ugandan kind of thing. They just want what comes and blows them up. That's all they focus on. They don't want to go delve and maybe do their research. It's very few people.
Ugandan music fans do not research. We are not lucky like that.
You want everything on the table.
Yes,
Like,
just bring it to me.
table, I
Let me
wanna
listen
see,
over and
yeah.
over.
We are not lucky to have fans that will try to find out who Kenneth Mugabe is, who Giovanni Chinji is. Like, we do not have that kind of audience. Like, our audience listens to what has been pushed to them. Like, I remember telling someone that I believe much of the song we call hits in Uganda just a product of good PR. Like,
Yeah,
there is a good
exactly.
team pushing all this, and then after they push all these songs, we kind of feel like, this song is nice, even when it wasn't that nice.
It just grows on you.
Yeah.
And that brings in the audience. Is the audience left behind when these artists go into the international scene, or when they go to these international record labels? Are they taken along with them? Did you take your audience with you?
I did, because when Sokalame was was one of the songs that was signed under the publishing and distribution. And right now, when I check the YouTube channel, I see the views are so many. But at the very beginning, it was very difficult. It was really hard to convince them. But there's a way I can't explain. My music, I think, grows over time. Then it is realized. Because by the time I released Ningo Mologe, that was like 2011. 2014, that's when it was more appreciated.
And was all those you did them while you were with Sony?
No, Ningo Mologe
before
was...
Yes, but then Sokalami?
Sokalame was with the Sony.
Okay. But Nava, did you ever have to do the whole big announcement when you went in to be with Sony?
Yes, there were announcements that were made. They decided to make announcements over the whole of Africa, I remember, before that song was released. And by the time it was released, every country was releasing, Zimbabwe, wherever, Nigeria.
Yeah. And when you mentioned they decided, so the control bit of things, of how
of course
now
they
your
ask you, are
activity-
you okay with this?
Yeah.
And they ask for your consent.
Well, taking a look at the schedule, even if they're asking you for the consent, but a schedule of an artist who, say, is signed to an international record label and the schedule of an artist here in Uganda, how different are these two, and how heavy does it weigh down on you as an artist? I'll start with you now.
The schedule, like for example, they might decide on something, but of course you will all sit on a round table. You know, you have to be with the same schedule. They will give you that push. They will help you. Of course, if I mean, it's all about your consent. That is, if you're in control, you haven't signed your life there completely. Just a few rights.
Yeah. Okay, and you?
Yeah, like she said, when you're in control, because I've been reading about very many artists signed to record labels. That's even in the US, not just in Africa. Even in the US, you'll be signed to a label, and yeah, they bring you on board, and then they will tell you, this year we're trying to push 2 artists, and you're not one of them. So you're going to sit out as we push these 2 artists. Probably as they are still pushing the 2 artists, Justin Bieber plays a song on a guitar on YouTube, and yeah, everyone is like, oh, that's a new sensation. So they sign him, and they're like, for 1 more year, you're going to be down. Now we're pushing this young man. Everyone loves him. So some artists actually, not even some, majority of artists leave record labels without releasing their first single.
Because
Like,
the attention was never on them.
Exactly.
the attention was never on them.
Yeah.
So when you try to bring that kind of scheduling in Africa, like, definitely, that's a death trap. And then besides just that, there is this there is that contract that you're going to release songs with so and so. You release songs with so and so. I know Davido is signed to Sony, but there is a rumor that Davido had to kind of buy out some clauses because the very first contract was so bad, and he released an album which failed. I don't remember the title of that album, but he released an album that did not work because they wanted him to work with certain producers, work with certain artists, collaborate with, was it Tinashe on that album? Like, it was a very sophisticated album, and it did not work. So what he had to do was to kind of buy himself out. And after buying himself out, he stayed with them, but this time he had more control. And that's when he released Fall with Nigerian producers, unlike the producers he had been assigned on the previous album. And this album worked. At one point, it was the same case with Wizkid, and he had to release a lot of collaborations with other artists that he had to release as, those songs were released as other people featuring Wizkid, but they're actually Wizkid songs. That's because he was tied down with this whole contract. He released an album he didn't want. It wasn't really working. And then when he was working with Nigerian producers and Nigerian artists, the songs were working, but they were released as collaborations with other artists.
But now it brings in money. How bad do you want the money? How much does this come with? That because when you mention people like Davido, yes, we know that Davido has his own family money on the other side of things, and he had to eventually use it. But I believe when he was signing that contract, it must have been a lucrative amount of money that he was going to earn.
Everyone looks forward to the money.
Now that money, you put money, then there's no attention, but you're earning the money, so do you just stay there and keep quiet? How many have the ability to actually buy out particular clauses? Not many. Maybe Davido might be on his own. But when you bring in the money, never the money was good. The money is good.
The money is good, especially when you're a partner, and you might think that you're seated and you're not doing anything because everyone is so used to you releasing songs and everything. But when you write a song, there are royalties, there are all these other things that come to you. If you're writing a song for a specific artist, you're earning while you're sleeping. You know, I've had the likes of APAs who are earning money in that kind of way. You take, I mean, everything is under your control. You don't need to stress about, you don't, you know, those kinds of things. You're earning big money.
Because each song, if you were not with a record label, each song is money for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. But that money, isn't there a sacrifice for that money for some particular artist? If we are to be honest. Yeah, the hard questions are being asked now, and the answers we expect the side.
Okay, like, truth is, even as an artist, you have to think about the future. Like, there is that time where that money is around you, and I've been told, I don't know how true it is, that you literally have a budget. Like, you have a budget, if you're going to appear, you're not supposed to appear when you're just looking like Kagwa. you need to put in some effort here. You need to put in some effort. You really need to look good. So like at the beginning, the money is good, and most of the times I believe many of the artists will look at that money and they'll believe if I go and record and it works, the money will even be more. Only to go and they'll tell you, it's not yet time to release the album. And that's when the frustration will kick in, because you will know this money is not going to last. If I do not record music, I will musically be dead, and then these guys will drop me because I'll be musically dead.
Yeah, okay, but I really want us to have this conversation. If the money, yes, okay, now you're being musically dead, but the money is coming in, but it's time to quit. Because how do you jump ship?
The money will be coming in, but if the contract is for 3 years, you'll be so sure if this contract is done, it might not be renewed.
But then how do you quit? How do you jump ship?
Most of them, because they can't buy themselves out, kind of stay in which I could say is kind of an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
They stay in until they are done. Because I've not really cast my net wide, but I've not really had an artist that was signed to a Sony where they had control of the entire like creative process and everything. I've not seen one artist who left and they were happy. Like, they left and they were like, yeah, it was so good working with you. I'm so happy. Like, everyone says, I do not want another deal. I do not want to do this again, because I think we had it with Keiko. At least I had the same with Toya Delazi after our contract was done, because Toya started talking before our contract was done. She was like, okay, we are getting into the final year. Like, she even announced when they got into the final year, like, she was that tired. So most of them cannot get out because they do not have the financial muscle to actually get out.
Yeah, but for now you have continued. I believe you have renewed your contract over and over.
No, mine is more partnership now, right? Okay. They approach me when they want. Maybe they have a certain artist that they want a song written for them, and I'm there.
Yeah. And you just stick to that, and when you're done, finish your job, step away.
Yeah, step away. Or if they need, maybe they do, like, for that, they might give me an offer. Maybe they have an artist who they want me to collaborate with. Like, for example, there's a song that's coming with a Senegalese that I've done with a Senegalese. So they give me such offers. I enjoy a few things, but under my terms.
So with your terms as they are, you just make sure that in one way or another, it's not a contract, but your terms of understanding,
Exactly,
terms and conditions.
yeah.
So we're just comparing terms and conditions, another situation, and a contract that binds you in one way or another for years
Like
to
you
come
have
with
to
this. Yes,
abide
what would
by
you
it.
advise someone? Andrew, another. Study Andrew.
One, grass is not always green on the other side. Like, truth. Right now, the world is trying to listen to Africa. It's not the other way around. If an artist wants, okay, if an artist is approached, I would say they would need to understand that they've been approached. It's not them that have approached.
Meaning, find your worth, see how good you are if they're
Yes.
coming to you.
Yeah. So you have all the right to
Yeah.
negotiate,
Exactly.
because these people have come to you, you've not gone to them.
Exactly.
But then someone said, but what if I negotiate so much and then in one way or another,
No, that
I miss
desperation
out on the
part.
deal? That desperation that you
That
want.
desperation that
Yeah.
kind of kills it all. Like at the end of the day, that means you're going to abide by them.
Okay.
They like it or not, because you love this. I mean, you would die for this.
Yeah.
In quotes, you would die for it. So one should realize that your life is on the line wherever you decide to sell yourself. Know you're selling yourself. You have to know, what am I ready for this? You have to have the right people around you.
Yeah.
In most cases, people don't have the right people. Sometimes we have the people around us, but they're not for us. They are for something else. That's why some artists are left stranded.
Some people around you could be as excited as you are.
Yeah,
So
you know, they could be excited and they're thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
But
Like,
you
this is
you
how
have to
much I
think
may
of
make
the
from her.
artist
Yeah.
first, because she's going to be out there. You guys are going to be phased out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Her mental, her physical, her spiritual, her emotional, everything, you have to consider it if you're taking an artist on. That's, I think the management should also really try, you know, to keep the artist at, you know, at peace with themselves.
So let's get into it from an artist's perspective. How is it in that mental space, that emotional space? You're entertaining people, your music puts a smile on people's faces, but how is it for you as an artist?
Okay, as an artist, I've always had the, you know, my right. I think I've been obstinate. Let me call it that way. I mean, I want this, I want that, and that, and that, and that. It's all about me. It's supposed to be about me, not the manager. They won't see you on stage. I usually used to come up with that that reason. They won't see you on stage, so I have to be at my best. I have to be at my peace. Give me my peace. Give me my freedom. Da, 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 da. I used to fight for that. But for other artists, it's not the case, because I've spoken to some artists and it's the management. So at the end of the day, you're the slave. That means whatever they say is go. If you're supposed to wake up early at 3 a.m., it's that. Okay, it's okay to be hardworking and everything, but if it takes your life, if it's taking your peace away, if it's taking your soul away, then I believe you should walk out.
Yeah, but when you mention, okay, so there are two options: self-management, which I think is the hardest thing to do. You need a
Of course,
support
you need
system.
someone. You need a support
Yes.
system. Yeah.
But how do you have that support system? How do you choose that this will be my management?
They have to be for you.
I think it's all about understanding each other. One, your manager has to know you're not their slave. You know, we have two types of managers in Uganda. There are managers that are employed by the artists, and then there are managers that basically employ the artist.
Yeah, they take care of everything.
They take care of everything, they finance you, like basically.
So there, at the end of the day, you're their child.
So
Whatever they say goes.
when you have a manager who is employing you, one, they need to understand that without you, they basically do not have anything to. Like, you're the person releasing the music, you're the person seen on the stage, you're the person in the videos, known them. So they need to understand that without your music, probably this whole company they are running around you does not exist.
Exactly.
So that understanding needs to be there. Management is so bad in some countries. I've known artists that have been forced to date a certain artist because it will work well with the tabloids.
Because it's going to work well with the tabloids.
Because they will look good together, they will look good in the pictures. So they are forced to
Because it's bringing more money
kind of
in,
date.
and they need to also be paid.
Yeah.
So they're looking at their pockets.
And so they be in these relationships. At times it doesn't work out, but people are like, just stay in there. Like, it's still working for the public. So that's how people end up losing themselves at the end of the day. But it just, there is, that understanding must be there. Like, yes, we
You
are
have
in
to have your
this,
best interests
but
at heart.
I'm the artist, you're the management. We both need each other. Maybe you're bringing the money, I'm bringing the music.
That ideal relationship that you speak of, Andrew, bringing it to the artists under foreign record labels, that conversation, surely, can it happen and say, I'm the artist, I'm bringing this, you're this? Because then, how does that, if that relationship, as you've mentioned, if it's clear from the start, how would it affect the artist's mental state? I'll start with you, Nava.
Now, for example, like the contracts. What contract are you signing at the end of the day? What terms? Under what terms? Maybe you're giving the terms are the greatest percentages with them, and you have the lowest percentage. So that means are you signing your life away? So if there's no room for sitting on a round table and discussing this, how are we going to do this? Okay, maybe we can give you this, or maybe. So if that is not there, then there's a problem. I think there's a problem there.
I actually think. First ask the question again. I think I'll forget.
That ideal relationship that you speak of, do you think it can be possible between the international record label and an artist from here? And if at all, if that relationship is not ideal, what kind of effect will it take on the artist's mental state?
Well, I think it's very important for someone to get the contract and sleep over it for even a month.
Yeah.
With someone trying to read it, understanding it. Because, I mean, it's not just record labels. Even if, say, I was a Daily Monitor doing my own work, being easy, and then TV comes up and it's like, hey, Andrew, you have this contract. You look at it and there are quite very many zeros. There are more chances you're going to sign that contract without even, you might not even tell anyone. You'll be like,
sign under pressure.
Yes.
Like, no one must see this. Put your signature on and, so, yeah, so the thing is, you need to be in the right state of mind. Because most people get excited. Excitement is the biggest thing. And of course, these people are going to come wearing very sleek suits.
Yeah, looking all good.
Yeah.
They will look all good.
Speaking like...
Probably they will invite you to sign that contract at a resort in Zanzibar where everything is paid for.
They might issue you a sum of money there.
And then you're quickly confused.
Give you a holiday of, I don't know, 2 weeks somewhere.
So it's all about the right state of mind, the right state of mind.
As we finish this up in just a bit, one last question before we go into something else. When we take a look at the pandemic, it has left a number of artists trying out new things. We have seen their potential in different ways. And I bet even the international scene is looking, and maybe there might be more signings in the future. I don't know what you think. So do you think in one way the pandemic is perhaps giving room for more signings for the music industry and the international scene? From
I should say something. The pandemic is one of the best things that happened to the music industry. Yeah. Like right now, I feel like everyone knows the importance of being able to perform live, being able to play an instrument, being able to use your voice to sing. Exactly. Because, I mean, I remember seeing her on an online show, and then I was thinking like, geez, Nava's not released a song in like a year, and then she's on an online show when people have hit songs and they are not on that online show. You see, right now when people are seated home and they are watching these online shows from their home, they want to hear you sing. They don't want to see your outfit, some funny outfit you're going to put on. You're not going to tell them sing along. You're not going to use video vixens and dancers to confuse everyone. Like when you're in a concert and we are high, because at times we are high.
Yes. Your sense of judgment is not...
Yes, and then those lights, geez.
There's a lot of distractions there.
The noise, the excitement, the hype of
and then the lights, like the lights are just way too many, so an artist will come and then they will shake their wig, and before you know, like, that was a good performance.
Yeah. But really? I've been amazed by I don't know, I think when people decided, I mean, when the pandemic came, people got to sit in their homes and think. So there's certain kind of music that is relating to them than what was hyped. Yeah. You know? So I've had so many people tweeting about certain songs that I did on my first album, and they're like, this is working for me right now. You know, there's some slow kind of emotional songs, really sad and all those kinds of things, and people are relating to them. Before they were not listening because I mean there were so many distractions.
They're so busy.
You're going to work, maybe there's a party somewhere, so there's banging music. You don't want to know.
Have you even seen the instrumentalists people are working with? Right now, all of a sudden, every artist has Michael Woma's number.
And what does that tell of our, because now at some point, as you notice that if at all we hype a particular artist or a particular musician, they're definitely going to catch the attention of the international labels. Yeah. So do we think we're going to see some signings there?
I believe
the signings are likely to happen. And besides that, I know more Ugandan artists will be performing on international shows and even the international virtual shows, because at the moment, since the world is on a lockdown, there are more shows people are organizing online.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, as we wrap this up, you have mentioned that we haven't had a song from Nava in a while. Yes. Nava, what are you up to?
There's so many projects we're working on. Like I told you, there's a Senegalese song that is coming with a big artist in Senegal. And of course, it's for the, it came at the right time, and it speaks about this entire pandemic. Yeah, and videos that I'm shooting as well, local videos. So I was planning a concert this year, but the COVID didn't spare me. And I don't want to do an online concert, but maybe as I go, maybe I'll think about it. You never know, am I? Stage one. Yes. But as we go,
Okay. Well, there's a request that's coming in from some few people asking for an a cappella. I don't know if you can give us one as we say good morning and we usher them into the weekend. Of course, our weekend is going to be characterized by tomorrow, which will be a day of prayer as a nation. So we'll be praying for our nation and hoping that the Lord will, as He always does, He will surely answer our prayers. Yes. Yeah, but so we're going to first of all listen to Nava Gray, and then we'll be just getting into the weekend with that. Whichever you choose, no pressure. But thank you, Andrew, for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning at NTV. No pressure.
Oh, which song? Give me a
I could say Sokalami. We have played Muloge. You can give us one, the ones that Bingo Muloge. Terede?
Terede?
Yes.
Terede?
Yes.
All right. Nze chimanyi ndiwamu nawe kuno moyo gwenina teguchano nye mulala gumo moyo ebikeme ebyo bise bingi zenkutena yechendabye sichano nye mulala gwe nange mba